All right, everyone. Hey, guys. Good morning to you. Blessings. I had so much to talk about, but what I really want to discuss is I want to give you guys some insight. I want to make you wise. I want to help you real quickly. We've talked about you reading the book of Proverbs. I would highly suggest that you do. And I would highly suggest that you don't come back up for air for 5 years. I highly suggest that you do this because I get a lot of things that come my way that just aren't wise. They're not things that are thought out. They're not even thoughtful. And what do I mean by this? I mean, people have asked me for things that only benefit them. They have zero benefit for me or my household. And as you can see behind me, I got a car seat. So obviously I have people to take care of. People don't really, they cut off their hand to spite their face. And what I mean by that is, how many of you have let people go out of your life that were actually good people? People who could have benefited you later on, or who knows, right? We have so much short-sightedness, it's kind of hard for us to ever make it to the long term. So what we do is we become ghosts. We break off relationships with people, even though we know the heart of that person is good. I mean, maybe your heart's not good. I don't get it, right? But when you find out, this is what I look for in life, okay? Once I find out someone's intention, I can work with them on that intention. I really can. Once I realize somebody is going to meet me where I'm at and I'm going to put in 100% effort so I can be number one at what I do, which is always just my goal, just to be number one. The reason I always make mention of how we began is because we began technically, only instruction I had came from God. It wasn't like I was sitting up 2 weeks before and I said it to myself, I'm going to go build a group and a network and all this different stuff. It was an idea that was hidden deep within my heart that God knew for 20 years was there. He'd been breathing on for years. And from time to time, he would, come see about me. Or he would show me where we could actually go in the long term. I don't want to mess with anyone else. I don't even need everybody. I really don't. I need all of the right somebodies. I'll say that one more time. I don't need everybody. People with the I need everybody mentality can take their ball and go home. Because ego is not going to get you anywhere. I don't get into rooms with wealthy people with a big ego. I get into those rooms being humble. I kiss zero behind, but I will let you know what I stand for. And once you realize the full value of what you stand for, and you can stand firm in that, and knowing, when I say step 100% into all that you are, if for whatever reason, that person's so ignorant that they say to themselves, I can't deal with a dark-skinned black man leading me. Guess what, baby? Then my blessing ain't meant for you. And that's okay. I love you. I feel sad for you, but I love you. I don't have an issue with anybody, any culture, anything. I really don't. And I would tell anyone, step 100% into who you are and stop apologizing. Your apology of yourself is offensive to your master, your creator. I don't care if you got one tooth in your whole head. Stop apologizing. This world would make you apologize for everything that you've ever done and everything that you'll ever do. And that, my friend, is what we call abuse. If you're in an abusive relationship, get out now. Go seek therapy until you can get your mind right. If you're letting somebody talk to you any kind of way every single day, that's your number one problem. Money ain't your problem. Your problem is you're allowing anything to go inside of you and get inside of your spirit deep down within. And that's dangerous. Don't let it go into your head. Don't let it go into your heart. It is dangerous to do this. And only doing this is just going to cause you more and more pain and heartache and suffering. So one of the beautiful things about being a prayer warrior is Brian has to lay down every single thing Brian does wrong and give it back to God. I have to do it in so much practice that I'm so used to it that I'm pretty much not scared of anything, because I feel like God put me there in the first place because I put in all the time of prayer. I put in so many hours of prayer, my own mind can't even keep up with how many hours it really is, which is where you really want to be. So I was having a conversation with someone last night. I think it was Michelle. And I was telling Michelle a fact. I said, you know, what God really wants from us is really, really simple, but it's kind of hard and we make it a little bit more complex. And I said, you know, when a little child walks by, let's say we take a little child to an amusement park. Let's say we're at Walt Disney World. And if you really pay attention to kids, you can kind of figure out the moment when they can't take it anymore. All these large human beings coming at them really fast. So the first thing the child will do is they'll look at you, they'll look up a couple times, and what do? They lift their arms immediately up, and they look up at you. And it's just a lift up. And 90% of the time, the child doesn't even say anything to you. They may make a grunt or a noise or whatever, or put themselves on their tippy toes or whatever it is. They give you a signal to let you know that, hey, I'm ready to be carried now. And I'm ready to, you know, be held in your arms. I'm ready to be made secure again. Now, your Bible says, suffer the little children to come unto me and forbid them not, for of such is the kingdom of heaven. So I want you to understand something. God showed me years ago, right after I'd ruptured my Achilles, because I'm a big guy and I like to protect my family, right? That's what I want to do. And we're out in Los Angeles, California, and I'm sitting there, I'm watching the TV, and I'm hearing about the knock-knock gangs that are going around in the city, because that's what you do. I don't care who you are. That's what you do. You watch too much news and you get all these ideas in your head, and then all of a sudden the ideas is coming home. The chickens have come home to roost now, and it's going to be your life. That's what you do. You make it, you manifest that as being your life. Like somebody's going to come and rob you. And so the Lord said, give me your fear. And so it was hard to do, but I did. I gave it to him. I said, God, you know what? I could, pray down angels to protect my home, which most of you don't do. You just don't do. We don't think like this, but you can. Get to know what the angels are, what their jobs are. What is a guardian angel's job? What is a seraphim's job? What does a cherubim do? What do they look like? Get into them, and that way you'll understand that he gave us charge over those. And in those moments when you're fearful, you can give charge back over that situation. Protect me, angel. Now, what God is really looking for, he says, I told you in heaven, they're like little children. He's basically asking you, why have you not reached up your arms toward me? Why is it that you believe in everything else? You believe in Google, you believe in the internet, you believe in I don't care which president it is, y'all. I don't give a doggone, really, truthfully, I don't believe in any of the politics, because none of the politics serves heaven, really. It doesn't serve the kingdom. It doesn't. I mean, we serving racism, we serving up all kinds of garbage, right? But if the truth be told, we got so much evil going all the way around, and I got one for people. The greatest sin is racism, folks. That's the greatest sin right now. I know we don't think it is because we've accepted it, right? But it don't matter. What do you think the parable of talents was even about? He split those folks up. Let me explain something to you. So at the end of the day, guys, when you don't step 100% into who you are, when you apologize, oh, I'm black, or when you apologize, oh, I'm too short, or when you apologize, that's just not how I am. You know, you're telling the only wise God how to do God. I mean, are you serious? Who are you to tell God how to be him? When at the end of the day, did he not create you? Isn't he the creator, the masterful creator? So your real question should be, Lord, all this time, I've never asked you this question, but why did you design me this way? I feel like we're the hardest critics, and I promise you that is the devil. The most difficult critic is you. It's a person that looks just like you, sounds like you, acts like you, intimidates like you, beats you up. A lot of times it comes from parental things and all this kind of stuff. But if you haven't rebuked that stuff out of your life and only taken the good, shame on you. You missed the point. You were supposed to only deal with the good. You weren't supposed to keep the negative. You were supposed to take the good out of what they told you. They meant well, but if I'm still dealing with things that my mama learned back in, come on, my mama was born in the 30s, guys. If I come to your church and it still looks like 1935, that's a problem. What about the internet and everything else that's going on? Things that are so fast. My wife, I leave the house and my wife shows me an article of a young lady that's 20 years old. She turned around in a 50 or 65-year-old's driveway, and the person killed her. They shot her and killed her. You know why? Because we stoke hate every day. And it wasn't about, I don't think it was about racism, really. It was a little white girl. Unfortunately, she was 20 years old. But I think it's just that we have gotten these visions of fairy tales dancing in our heads so dramatically, and we refuse. We'll watch 3 hours of news and give 5 minutes of prayer. And then we expect to have wisdom. Are you serious? It should be 3 hours of prayer, 5 minutes of the news. Because after the news runs in a loop several times and hits its cycle, guys, aren't you basically hearing the same old garbage over and over again? Ain't that how the news works? That's how my news work over here. It's the same old garbage. And I don't care who you listening to. NPR, Fox News, CNN, MSNBC, it all makes me sick. It makes me violently, it's toxic. Violently toxic. I trust God so much, and I shared this with somebody as I prayed years ago. I said, any news I need to know, I believe God will give it to me. And he did. You got a phone, a cell phone. And mine is putting news up as we speak. I mean, you're going to get the information, guys. Turn the garbage off. So basically what I'm saying is this. There is a reset that you need to have. I know I got a little off. There's a reset that you need to have. And then there's a thoughtfulness. There's an empathy that you're going to need to have going forward, because we've entered into the darkest days. These are the darkest days. I don't have to tell you they're the darkest days. Let's just deal with the financial end. The inflation is out of whack. We got wars and rumors of wars, right? Already. We're sitting in the midst of it. There's all kinds of financial things going on that are actually bigger than us. I put the FDIC amount, the $250,000 in there, because I wanted you to understand something. What if you had more than $250,000? They're not insuring all of your money in the bank. That's first and foremost. I just remember when I didn't have 100,000 or 250,000, it didn't even resonate in my spirit. And that's why I'm here to talk to you, because I know it doesn't resonate in your spirit because it doesn't apply to you, which to me is actually selfishness, unfortunately, right? And that's the reason why we vote the way we do. We vote out of selfishness. We only vote out of the things that we understand, but we don't add gravity to the things that we should be looking at down the road. I need some folks that have the vision enough to see down the road 5 years. If you're somebody who thinks you're going to check out of here in the next 15 minutes, I probably don't need you. Here's what I do need from you. I need the idea that you could check out. I could check out as I'm doing this video. I know that, but I don't live like that. What I'm saying is I don't live like, oh, I'm going to die. This is it. I live until I die. In that order, so that the pages of my living epistle, the pages, the letter that I'm writing to God is so beautiful. And it's so full and rich of things that I got up in the morning and I did. Pharaoh right now is your God. If you go to work every single day and the only thing you think about is the same old crap you thought about 25 years ago, Pharaoh is your God. God wants to be your God. Right now, Pharaoh is your God. You're a slave for the dollar. I know your bills are high. I got it. I was telling you this 3 years ago for a reason, because I knew it was going to come to this. But guess what? You're ill prepared. Now prepare. That's the only answer. Not borrowing money, none of that stuff. Just you're ill-prepared now. What are you going to do to create a revenue stream for you and your family that's going to take you into the next 5 years, 5 to 10 years? If you can't see 6 months down the road, 5 years down the road, 10 years down the road, then you failed already. I need some long-term thinkers, because those are the problem makers. I mean, problem solvers, sorry. Those are the decision makers. People who can think long-term. We need a pioneer type spirit, not a baby spirit. We need a pioneer spirit. You can cry your tears, but don't cry your tears forever. Know that those tears are just a release, but don't bring your emotion over into financial industry. You'll get destroyed every single time. I think to myself, if I would have cried every time I could have cried as a promoter, ran my behind out the door, sat down in a meeting with another promoter, they would have ate me alive. They would have eaten me. They would have taken my lunch. That's the edge you have to have. You have to be wise as a serpent, gentle as a dove. Bible. In all things, but definitely in business. God bless.